Time now for The Clash. Today, gloomy government advisor Jenny Harries stated that people should effectively lock down again and avoid socialising. But hours later, Boris contradicted her, insisting he doesn't want to cancel Christmas parties.
Would more working from home help?
So I think what we've seen is, in fact, that not everybody has gone back to work, and I'd like to think of it more in a general way, which is if we all decrease our social contacts a little bit, actually that helps to keep the variant at bay. So I think being careful, not socialising when we don't particularly need to, and particularly going and getting those booster jabs.
We don't want people to cancel such events. And we think that overwhelmingly the best thing for kids is to be in school, as I've said many times throughout this pandemic. What we're doing is trying to take a balanced and proportionate approach to the particular risk that seems to be posed by Omicron.
Harries' comments were also slapped down by a Downing Street spokesperson, reminding the public that Harries gives advice to the government. She is not the government. After almost 2 years of restrictions on our lives, don't staff deserve to let their hair down? Our reporter Cameron Walker asked the British public what they think.
The emergence of a new Omicron COVID variant has persuaded some companies to rethink their Christmas party plans. But some say this is a bit premature. We don't yet know how much this new variant evades vaccines. So is it wrong to deprive staff of festive cheer for a second year running?
We don't want another Christmas when we're not going out.
So if it's not safe to go into the office, it's not safe to go to a Christmas party.
I think if you're already working in an office and the party's going to be in the office anyway, what's the point in cancelling it?
It's probably a good idea, I think, yes.
We've had it for 2 years now. I know we're getting new variants, but it's just going to keep happening. It's never going to stop if we just need to get on with it, I think.
Personally, I'd rather people were safe than sorry. Because you never know who it's going to hit.
Well, I think people have got to be careful, wear masks when they're indoors and take precautions, but I would hope that life can get on as much as normal.
I think we're jumping the gun, but what can they do?
It is a shame because nobody knows how bad the variant is yet. Life should go on really, shouldn't it?
It's probably a good idea under the circumstances, but the new virus, do we know enough about it? Probably not.
My diary gets booked up enough in December anyway.
So our business is wrong to deprive staff of Christmas parties? I say absolutely, but what do you think? Vote now in our Twitter poll at GBNews or email me at dan@gbnews.uk. But to try and settle this, I've brought in two heavyweights, the journalist and broadcaster Dame Esther Ranson and the media personality and author Christine Hamilton. Dame Esther, you say no Christmas parties?
Some of my most worrying and embarrassing memories consist of office parties. And I remember the first one I ever went to when an elderly gentleman who I think was the office messenger was violently sick in the waste paper basket. And I looked around the room and there were the most extraordinary things going on. I mean, I don't know what hashtag Me Too would have made of it. So I was taken away to a nice little place where I could have a drink, whereupon a stripper walked in, whereupon I went home. So I have to say that I love parties, and I have met Christine at some parties, and she and I have had lovely conversations, but I prefer it where actually it's a purely social event. You're there because you want to meet new people, you're introduced to people, there's food as well as drink, which is rather crucial. And if Christmas parties in offices were banned forever, personally, I wouldn't miss them.
But isn't it, Christine, such an important way for bosses to reward their staff for a year of hard work? And I'm sorry, after missing out on last Christmas, there is nothing I want more than a messy office Christmas party.
Well, I shall look forward to being invited to the GB News office party this Christmas.
Oh, it will be messy, I'm sure.
I mean, a lot of people share Esther's horror at the whole concept of a Christmas party, but if you want to go to a Christmas party, I think it's utterly ludicrous to cancel it. It's a massive overreaction. And as one of the people you interviewed, your Vox Pop, said, it's far too soon. We have no idea of the virulence or lethality of this new variant. We simply don't know. At the moment, the numbers in this country who've got it are way below 20. It may go massively up next week, but this is devastating businesses who are having office parties that have been booked, they're having them cancelled, and we have to get a sense of proportion. And, you have one train crash, you cancel the whole of British Rail. It's nonsense. It has to be proportional. And I just think it's a massive overreaction. And I think, people who've worked under very difficult circumstances for 2 years now, because of last year's Christmas parties, if their firm wants to throw one, or would under other circumstances, and they want to go, it's terribly important, the camaraderie and the conviviality of an office environment. That's been seriously lacking. And why not, just for a few hours, have a ball, have fun? So I think it's ridiculous.
I totally agree. And David, the issue that I have with Jenny Harries is that this doesn't seem to be an individual that really lives in the real world. And look, a lot of these folk might be brilliant scientists, but they don't understand how normal folk like to live. Because what is necessary socialising? Socialising, all of it is necessary, because that's what makes us want to live. That's what makes us want to get out of bed in the morning. We need to interact with other people. That is necessary.
I agree with you. And I'm sorry to agree with you. I know it's not in my contract, but I'm sorry, I am agreeing with you, because I'm looking forward to Christmas. There's a chance, if this horrible mutation turns out to be as mild as we hope, there's a chance that it will go ahead, and I will meet the 17 members of my family that I haven't seen for ages.
But
I will see the
Christmas is going ahead, though. Christmas is going ahead. Surely you can't accept that for a second year in a row, the government will somehow stop Christmas happening. Hell no. Christmas is going ahead for me, no matter what Jenny Harries says, no matter what Nicola Sturgeon says, no matter what Boris Johnson says. They are not stopping me celebrating Christmas for a second year in a row.
Can I ask you, Dan, whether you read the piece by the ICO doctor, a woman specialist, talking about the agony, the heartbreak in her life of watching quite young people dying in ICU from COVID. And she was just saying, I don't make judgments about anyone. That's not my role. I don't judge people who smoke. I don't judge people who decide not to have vaccinations, but it's just heartbreaking. And I think we do, as a nation, owe something to these wonderful NHS professionals to take responsibility for ourselves. If your Christmas office party is crucial to you, if it's more important to you than anything else, go ahead. But for me, I want to be with the people I know and love, but that's not necessarily the same as going to that office party.
Christine, on that point, I'm sorry, after 20 months, I'm no longer going to stop living a full life to, quote unquote, protect the NHS. Their job is to protect us. 80% of the country are now double jabbed, 25% and growing are now triple jabbed. Over 90% of British adults have COVID antibodies. This, to me, just feels like mass overreach and actually control now. And I believe, Christine, we have to start standing up for ourselves.
Well, control, you're absolutely right. There are certain people in this country in positions of power who absolutely love to have us all absolutely under their thumbs. They love it. But it's a massive, massive overreaction. We have to learn to live with COVID, even this new variant. And the numbers of people who have actually had it very seriously is very, very small. I mean, out of the entire population of the UK, there have been 10 million cases. Now, some of those have been incredibly mild. And I think I'm right that there's a 1.5% mortality rate, which that's a number of people who've died of that figure. And a very large number of those, let us not forget, were people who were ejected from hospital back into care homes. They were sent out to die. And so I think we have to get this under...
Sorry, Esther, come in. Sorry, Esther, we just lost you.
About 144,000.
Isn't that an awful lot? I mean, we're worried about 15,000 deaths 12,000 deaths from cancer. Isn't that an awful lot of people, particularly if it's a member of your
Esther,
family?
if you read Professor Angus Dalgleish in the Daily Mail today, he says that actually the big issue that's coming is going to be the deaths from lockdown, the missed cancer screenings, the mental health deaths, the heart attacks,
from other things,
the deaths from strokes. And so, yes, of course, any death is terrible, but we have to get some perspective. COVID actually has, at the moment, a 0.2% infection fatality rate. The average age of death is incredibly high. Now, look, I've lost elderly relatives to COVID. I'm not for a single second diminishing the personal losses. But I really feel to carry this on and to start talking about a society where a government advisor can tell me whether or not I'm going to host a Christmas party, I say no, Esther. But final word to you.
The problem is, the worry they have is whether this particular mutation can evade vaccination, and whether all the wonderful scientific work, all the courage that's gone into it's the thing that Boris has done right, isn't it, to roll out this vaccination. If all that's wasted because this new mutation has managed to escape past the vaccination, you know what they say, nobody's safe until we're all safe. And I think that is
incredibly low. The chance of that is incredibly low. If that happens, we'll deal with it again.
If that, in that case, let's completely cancel Christmas. Let's stop everybody going abroad. Let's hole everybody up in their own houses. I mean, let's take it to
and let's become a hermit kingdom, and we'll lock down again. I say no. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I agree with Christine Hamilton, but I always appreciate the debate. Thank you so much to Dame Esther Ransom. What do you think? Well, Jim on Twitter has written to say 90 million vaccines, and we're still living this life of restrictions. Rockerite says we're having ours early this coming weekend because we know they'll put restrictions on us this weekend. Oh, I'm so sad you have to do that, but I completely understand why you feel concerned. And Brian writes to me to say, I don't want to see them cancelled, but I understand if they are. What happens if they do turn into heavy spreading events? Plus, as someone who has organised these things in the past, I can guarantee there will be people moaning whatever way the company goes. Your verdict is in. 79% of you agree with me that it's wrong for businesses to cancel office Christmas parties, while 21% of you say it's right. Just end them all. Dame Esther Ransom says office Christmas parties should just be banned forever because they're horrible things. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.